Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with a very new chapter which is called as Living World. Now students, let's discuss one aspect before understanding the chapter, what the chapter is talking about. Okay. Now, if we talk about planet Earth, yes, if we talk about planet Earth, can I say in this planet Earth we have both, we have living forms also, yes, and also we have non living forms. We have both types of existences. Okay, non living also, there are substances, there are things which are non living, there are organisms which are living. Yes, now the complete association, okay, the complete association of living organisms and the non living forms together constitutes what is called as planet Earth. In more biological language, we can call it as what we define as biotic component and abiotic component, right? So therefore when we discuss biotic component and abiotic component, essentially what we are discussing is the same thing. When we talk about biotic components, are these things which are living ones. Abiotic are generally inorganic or the non-living creatures, non-living things. But one thing everyone must understand, that the association, as I discussed earlier, that the association of both the forms, okay, the living forms also and the non-living forms also together is going to constitute, okay, the entire Earth, and this entire Earth will eventually constitute what is called as living world. All right, my dear students. Now if we talk about any living organisms, okay, if we talk about any living organisms, firstly tell me one thing, each and every living organism including us is present on the Earth, is born primarily to survive. बराबर है ना? Okay, it is born primarily to survive. That is the basic thing to understand. Yes, we, everyone, like from smaller to smaller organisms, from bigger to bigger organisms, from complex to complex, simple to simple, everybody. Okay, but there is one twist here. If any organism, understand this, okay, if any organism have to survive, अगर कोई भी organism को यहाँ पे अगर survive होना है, okay, तो one thing to for sure, you require what is called as energy. Okay, if organism has to survive here, if organism has to adapt here, the very prime important thing what a living organism might require, will require, is the energy. And my dear students, now you know that energy is in the form of what is called as ATP. Yes, adenosine triphosphate. Very good. But essentially, if when we talk about any organism wanting energy, okay, जब भी कोई भी organism को energy चाहिए, एक चीज़ समझना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, that energy also be produced with the help of many chemical molecules. Okay, energy will also be produced with the help of many other chemical molecules. Energy will not fly directly. Heavens are not going to give you energy. Okay, there's nothing which can give you energy which is ready made. So therefore if any organism has to produce energy, it has to have certain chemical molecules, right? Now these chemical molecules are the ones which are going to give or going to produce or are going to be a substrate, a starter molecule for the production of energy. Correct? Now, how will you achieve this? How will you achieve this? A big question mark in front of us. Now, what we are talking about, these chemical molecules producing energy, is what is under the concept of metabolism. The very first thing what we have to understand, it is under the concept of metabolism. Sir, what do you mean by metabolism? Now, simply, when we talk about metabolism, metabolism is defined as, breaking of molecules. It can be defined as breaking of molecules, yes, or joining of molecules. सो एक तो मॉलिक्यूल्स टूट सकते हैं, नहीं तो मॉलिक्यूल्स जुड़ सकते हैं. टुगेदर the process of either breaking the molecules or joining the molecules constitutively is what is called as metabolism. Yes, students. Now when we talk about joining of molecules, the word, a biological word for joining of molecule, is what is called as anabolism. Okay, it is called as anabolism. If I have to take one example where there is something which is getting joined, okay, so now if I take for example, if I take amino acid, okay, 1 plus amino acid 2, it can be any amino acid, it can be any amino acid. Okay, now if I take multiple, I have taken here only 2, but for example, if I take here let's say one more, so I can take one more amino acid 3. Okay, so I am taking many amino acids together, and as we know, lower classes have already taught us that amino acids, when joined together, they are formed what is called as proteins. Very good, those who have answered, proteins. So can I now say, if I want to simplify this above reaction, can I now say that anabolism मतलब जहाँ पे molecules join होते हैं. For example, you take A molecule, you take B molecule, you take C molecule, and it can join in many forms. Okay, but I am giving one form like A, B, C. ठीक है, it can join in many forms. Okay, but एक example मैंने दिया कि it can join in ABC form. Okay, even this is right. तो एक्चुअली में एनाबॉलिज्म में हो क्या रहा है कि जहाँ पे बहुत सारे अमाइनो एसिड्स, एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे बहुत सारे अमाइनो एसिड्स आ रहे हैं, जॉइन हो रहे हैं, और वो जाके प्रोटीन बना रहे हैं. जॉइनिंग कनेक्शन इज एनाबॉलिज्म. ओके, सेकंड क्या था? ब्रेकिंग. सो इट इज ब्रेकिंग ऑफ molecules. It is breaking of molecules. Now breaking of molecules को अपन ने क्या बोला था? Catabolism. Good. It is called as catabolism. Cata मतलब क्या करोगे अभी आप तोड़ दोगे. ठीक है, you are going to break it. Okay, अभी breaking का example ना देखो कुछ भी ले सकता हो. For example, you must have studied breakdown of starch, okay, into what is called as maltose, and finally into glucose. Now if you don't know, I will tell you. Starch is a complex molecule. Okay, maltose is little lesser complex to starch, and glucose is the simplest molecule. So therefore यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है. यहाँ पे ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है. अगर इसको ही मुझे थोड़ा सा और सिंप्लीफाई करना रहा, तो A, B, C is getting breakdown into A plus B plus C. Cata na. So therefore my dear students, you must understand that whenever we combine anabolism plus catabolism together, the process which is getting performed in the body, in your cell, is what is called as metabolism. Okay, now we also discussed about production of energy. एनर्जी के बारे में डिस्कस किया. एनर्जी जैसे कि अपने को पता है, एनर्जी के लिए अभी हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया कि हमको क्या चाहिए. We require a chemical molecule. Now that chemical molecule is the one which is going to help us in getting the energy. Right. So now whenever energy requirement is completed, मतलब जब एनर्जी आपको मिल गया, आपके सेल को मिल गया, तो now can I say after that organisms will now show tendency for growth and development. Yes, अभी organisms क्या करेंगे, अभी वो टेंडेंसी दिखाएंगे ग्रोथ एंड डेवलप. आपको एनर्जी मिल गया, तो एनर्जी मिल के ऑर्गेनिजम्स क्या करना शुरू कर देंगे, दे विल स्टार्ट टू ग्रो. यस, नाउ वंस ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑकर्स, वन थिंग जो हम लोग को सबको समझना ज़रूरी है, दैट दिस ग्रोथ इज़ नॉट अ वन डे प्रोसेस. ग्रोथ ऑकर्स फॉर एवर, ग्रोथ हैपन्स फॉर लाइफ, एंड ग्रोथ इज़ अ वेल orchestrated process. It is a well orchestrated process, meaning it is a synchronized process. It is not going to happen in haywire. So therefore what is happening is growth, firstly it is going to happen forever. It is going to happen throughout life, and also growth is a synchronized process. Okay, now if example, अगर आपको एक example दूँ, एक ग्रोथ का एग्जाम्पल दूँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल माउंट्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल बोल्डर्स, एक्सेट्रा. नाउ दीज आर द वंस वेयर द ग्रोथ इज नॉट फ्रॉम विद इन. अंदर से ग्रो नहीं हो रहा है, बाहर से ग्रो हो रहा है. देयरफॉर दीज माउंट्स हो गया, बोल्डर्स हो गया, दे आर नॉट लिविंग बींग्स. what do we mean by that? Let's take one simple example, guys. ठीक है, अगर मैंने माउंटेन के बारे में बात किया, ठीक है, माउंटेन्स, ओके, पहाड़. now when I talk about mountains, one thing is very clear that mountains are not living organisms for sure. But what if I say you that mountains do grow? अगर मैंने ये बोला आपको कि mountains grow होते हैं, तो फिर now there is a question mark. How? Yes, mountains will grow, definitely they are going to grow. Now how will they grow is, see, mountains will show an external growth, not internal. They will show external growth. How? Now mountains are present at that location from millions and millions of years. Only then they are formed so huge and so big. So therefore the growth what a mountain shows is external by addition of the layers of the soil over it. Okay, सालों साल मिट्टी की परत बनते जाएगी, मिट्टी की लेयर बनते जाएगी, साथ ही साथ वहाँ पे पेड़ ग्रो होंगे. ठीक है, trees will grow, the height of the trees will increase, because of which we would imagine that the mountain is big, but it may not. Why? Because the upper surface of the mountain is covered, majority it is covered with the trees or grasses or any kind of plants or etc. Okay, so this kind of growth where there is addition of the layers of the soil over the mountain, there is growth of plants over the mountain over the period of time, is what is called as external growth. For that matter, external growth is shown by many species, living also, non-living also. So therefore growth, the factor growth, we cannot define कि भाई ये ग्रोथ कर रहा है तो ये लिविंग है, ये ग्रोथ नहीं कर रहा है तो ये नॉन लिविंग, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते, बिकॉज नॉन लिविंग भी ग्रोथ दिखाते हैं. तो क्या वो लिविंग हो गए? द आंसर इज नो. सो देयरफॉर यू कैन नॉट पुट ग्रोथ इन वन बॉक्स एंड से कि growth is only applicable to living and growth is not applicable to non-living. You cannot say that, right? Now growth, as I discussed, for any species, living or non-living, has a very unlimited टाइम स्पैन, बहुत अनलिमिटेड टाइम स्पैन. अनलिमिटेड मतलब ग्रो होते रहेगा, ठीक है, ग्रो होते ही रहेगा, ठीक है. उसका कुछ इट इज़ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड ओवर द टाइम. इट इज़ नॉट कि भाई ये आज ही 3 साल ग्रो होगा, उसके बाद फिर 5 साल ग्रो नहीं होगा, फिर वापस चल, नहीं, नथिंग लाइक दैट. सी, ग्रोथ इज़ अ प्रोसेस विच इज़ सिंक्रोनाइज्ड, अभी समझा अपन ने. इट इज़ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड and it is spread over the period of time. So the growth is not a narrow spectrum phenomena, it is a broad spectrum phenomena where growth will take place for the years to come in a life of a living organism or a non-living organism. Yes, now but one thing we should understand, that at some point of time, you take molecules, you take organs, okay, you take systems, or that is organ systems, will start to lose the effective functioning. They will start to lose the effective functioning. Now what it is effective functioning बोले तो can I say indirectly aging बोल सकता हूँ क्या? बोल सकता हूँ कि indirectly aging बोल दो. कोई भी organism, अभी अपन living लेते हैं to keep things simple, that कोई भी organism ले लो, वो organism, living organism, अगर उसका लाइफ स्पैन 100 years का है, ठीक है, once he passes 50 or 60, his body is going to respond. Yeah, now how is that body going to respond? The skin may become loose, first wrinkles, development of wrinkles, then bones will become weak, organs will not perform up to optimum level, organ systems may not be efficiently working, persons may have different organ system problems, person may have different organ failures, if at all. So therefore, over a period of time, organ systems will start to lose the functioning. They may not lose it 100% in a very short duration of time, but yes, the graph will slowly start to come down. Same thing is with molecules. Varied molecules. Immune system will become weak. Okay, older individuals have a very weak immune system because the molecules or the cells which are involved in the immune systems become weak. They're not able to metabolize, so therefore things become complicated as the aging process starts. Okay, now whatever we discussed, this is what is called as the process of aging. उसको क्या बोलेंगे हम लोग? Aging. And sir, is aging optional? Is aging optional? No, aging is not optional. Aging is not optional. You must understand this. Aging is a compulsory phenomena and it is not optional. Okay, now if at all one individual have a lifespan of 100 years, there's one more thing which is very very crucial in a life of a organism. Humans for example, ठीक है, चीज़ें सिंपल रखने के लिए ह्यूमंस का एग्जांपल लेते हैं, ठीक है. सो नाउ even though that individual can live 100 years, the life on the planet Earth has to go on, right? You must you will agree with me, life has to go on. Now how will you keep the life going? Think over it. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, how will the life on the planet Earth will keep growing? Okay, some of you might get a click that yes, reproduction is one method. जिनको नहीं समझा कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है. रिप्रोडक्शन एक ऐसा मेथड है जहाँ पे आप लाइफ कंटिन्यू रख सकते हो, ठीक है. सो कैन आई से डेवलपमेंट ऑफ यंग वंस, ठीक है, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ यंग वंस, that is in short what is called as reproduction. So apart from growth, even reproduction has a very important role in any living organism or a species, because reproduction is a process in which life will continue to grow for the coming years. Now this reproduction, as you must have studied in the lower classes, that it can be asexual, okay, or it can be sexual. If I have to tell you in very short, okay, अगर एकदम शॉर्ट में मुझे आपको बताना रहा, तो asexual reproduction बोले तो where there is no involvement of gametes, there is no involvement of gametes. Gametes मतलब reproductive cells, okay, and sexual reproduction बोले तो there is involvement of gametes, okay. Now gametes, namely guess करो जरा, yes, very good, sperm and ovum, okay. Sperm being the male gamete, ovum being the female gamete as far as sexual reproduction is concerned, okay. But one thing you must note is reproduction common and can we apply to each and every organism? No, you cannot apply to each and every organism. Again, there is an exception here. You cannot apply. Yeah, for example, mules, sterile worker bees. Okay, now these species are not able to reproduce. They are not able to reproduce. What is mule? हिंदी में आप उसको खच्चर बोलते हो, where there is a cross, okay. Mules are basically a cross between a donkey and a horse, okay. This is a mule, and I hope you must be knowing bees, honey bees. So the worker bees are the ones which are sterile, okay. They are not able to reproduce. अभी मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि सर अगर ये रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ठीक है, द अबाव स्पीशीज even though they are not able to reproduce, they are still living. वो फिर भी जिंदा है, कैसे? But still living, मतलब फिर भी जिंदा है. मतलब एक चीज़ हम लोग को यहाँ से समझ में आ रही है, यहाँ से अपने को एक चीज़ समझ में आ रही है कि रिप्रोडक्शन कैन नॉट बी अ यूनिक फीचर. कैन इट बी? नो, बिकॉज जो ऑर्गेनिज्म, जो स्पीशीज़ रिप्रोड्यूस कर भी नहीं पाते, जो ऑर्गेनिज्म रिप्रोडक्शन कर नहीं सकते, वो स्पीशीज़ भी जिंदा है. ग्रोथ में भी तो वही हो रहा है. सो देयरफॉर रिप्रोडक्शन यू कैन नॉट क्लासिफाई as a distinctive feature, because reproduction हो चाहे ना हो, sterile organisms are still surviving. What are the examples of them? One is mule, या खच्चर बोलते हो, ठीक है. sterile worker honey bees, ठीक है, again they are sterile, they are not able to reproduce but still living. So therefore reproduction is a very very different feature, unlike growth, you can say. Yes. Now जैसे जैसे एजिंग का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट होता है गाइस, एक चीज़ समझो, ठीक है, जैसे जैसे एजिंग का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो जाता है, कैन आई से, जैसे कि हम लोगों ने भी डिस्कस किया कि ऑर्गेनिज्म का एबिलिटी भी ख़त्म हो जाता है. मतलब एज द एजिंग प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स, ठीक है, एज द एजिंग प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स, what happens? Can I say the ability of organism, कोई भी organism हो, to perform metabolism decreases. You will agree to me, जैसे लोग बूढ़े हो जाते हैं जैसे एजिंग का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो जाता है, मेटाबॉलिज्म का एबिलिटी कम होते जाता है, एंड इवेंचुअली what is going to happen? Eventually organisms will will die. No one is immortal, everyone has to die, everyone has to die. So therefore एजिंग का प्रोसेस जैसा ही शुरू हो जाएगा, मेटाबॉलिज्म स्लो हो जाता है, कहीं ना कहीं एक्शन रिएक्शन है। एजिंग शुरू, मेटाबॉलिज्म स्लो। जब तक एजिंग नहीं हो रहा है मेटाबॉलिज्म एकदम फास्ट एंड टनाटन है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। बट जैसे एजिंग शुरू हो जाता है, योर बॉडी विल लूज the ability to perform to its optimum level, and eventually that body or that organism is going to die. बराबर? So living organisms during the course of life, okay, जब भी वो जिंदा है, ठीक है, living organisms have an ability to react to thermal, okay, chemical और बायोलॉजिकल चेंजेस। एक तो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स थर्मली, केमिकली और बायोलॉजिकली चेंजेस को रिस्पॉन्ड कर सकते हैं, एंड दिस इज द यूनिक फीचर ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म। बहुत ज़्यादा यूनिक फीचर है ऑर्गेनिज्म का कि भाई वो चीज़ों को रिएक्ट कर सकते हैं, चीज़ों को रिएक्ट कर सकते हैं, एक अलग ही फीचर बन जाता है ये, ठीक है। नाउ ये लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में भी ना गाइस, ये लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में भी ना बहुत ज़्यादा इमेंस, ओके, देयर इज़ इमेंस मतलब बहुत, ठीक है, देयर इज़ इमेंस डाइवर्सिटी, there is immense diversity among varied organisms, and since time immemorial, जब मतलब हम लोग को जहाँ तक याद है कि भाई कब से लाइफ शुरू हुई होगी, variety of organisms lived together, variety of living organisms, okay, they lived together, okay. सो मतलब जब भी अपने को पता भी नहीं होगा कि अर्थ शुरू कहाँ से हुआ, ठीक है, अर्थ चालू कहाँ, उसका स्टार्ट कहाँ से हुआ, कि अर्थ में अभी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स आने लगे, अपने को जहाँ तक पता है, साइंटिस्ट लोगों ने जहाँ तक सोचा है, वहाँ से हम लोग को ये चीज़ पता चल गया है कि फ्रॉम दैट टाइम लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स ऑफ डिफरेंट स्पीशीज हैव ऑलरेडी ट्रेन्ड देमसेल्व्स टू लिव टुगेदर, ओके। नाउ if at all we have to understand कि भाई ये रिलेशन क्या है, किसमें, what is the relation, understand this, what is the relation between living organisms and non-living forms. So living organisms में क्या है और नॉन लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में रिलेशन क्या है, तो इसके लिए ना मुझे सिस्टमिक स्टडी करना ज़रूरी है। सिस्टमिक स्टडी, ना व्हाट इज सिस्टमिक स्टडी, वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट, बट सिस्टमिक स्टडी होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, ठीक है। अभी ये क्यों ज़रूरी है, ये डेटा जो है इसमें पढ़ोगे आप तो डेटा जनरेट होगा। सो ये जो डेटा है दिस इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, ओके, दैट इज़ वेरी वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट for industries and also agriculture. Sir, how? Yes, we are going to discuss every point, we are going to discuss, but just I'm trying to give you an overview कि भाई कि अगर मुझे ये समझना है कि लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग में फ़र्क क्या है, ठीक है, कैसे वो एक दूसरे के साथ रह रहे हैं, ठीक है, रिलेशन क्या है उनका, तो मुझे पहले उसका स्टडी करना पड़ेगा। उसको आप सिस्टमिक बोलते हो, ठीक है, जहाँ पे आप डेटा लोगे, आपको डेटा मिलेगा और यही डेटा कैन प्रूव अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर for various big companies in industries and in the field of agriculture, right? Now if we have to study this, okay, अगर हम लोग को ये डेटा पढ़ना है, तो certain aids, ठीक है, certain tools or aids which is called as taxonomical aids are required, ठीक है, मतलब सी यू कैन नॉट haphazardly start taking data over plants or animals, because there is millions and millions of species of plants, there are millions of species of animals present. How will you take the data? ऐसे haphazard अगर आप चले गए डेटा निकालने को, it is impossible. First, it is impossible. So there has to be some organization, there has to be some system by which we can take the data, we can collect the data, we can collate it, we can put it in one systemic form, and which can be used by different people after that. So therefore उसके लिए आपको tools चाहिए, ठीक है। अभी ये क्या tools है, like for example you can have tools such as herbaria, then you can have botanical gardens, ओके, बॉटेनिकल गार्डन्स हो सकता है, म्यूजियम्स हो सकते हैं, ठीक है, देन उसके बाद बायोडाइवर्सिटी पार्क्स हो सकते हैं, एंड एक्सेट्रा। नाउ व्हेन यू टेक द डेटा, व्हेन यू अंडरस्टैंड द डेटा, आपको तब एग्जैक्टली समझ में आता है कि डाइवर्सिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है, देयर इज ट्रेमेंडस अमाउंट ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी। अभी ना actuality में, to be very frank, you know, understanding this data itself is a huge challenge. So therefore you're trying to simplify it, okay, you're trying to simplify it. Now how are you going to simplify? You will simplify with the help of taking help of different methods, different tools called as taxonomical tools or taxonomical aids. For example, herbaria, for example, botanical gardens, for example, museums or biodiversity parks. We are going to understand each and every taxonomical aid in detail in the following modules. So stay tuned and all the best. Thank you very much.